Hey, my name's ShawNshawN. I sell art on ShawNshawN.co. Today we're going to review Jurassic World Dominion. I got the bugs again. This is directed by Colin Trevorrow. Rhymes with tomorrow, I guess. Time is 2 hours 26 minutes, so quite a long film. Definitely don't drink a Coke at all going to the cinema. I didn't, so I was fine, but anyone that drank a Coke, they probably left and went to the restroom. It stars Chris Pratt plays Owen Grady. Bryce Dallas Howard plays Claire Deering. Laura Dern plays Ellie Sattler. Sam Neill plays Alan Grant. Jeff Goldblum plays Ian McCallum. Isabella Sermon plays Maise Lockwood. So the story is Owen and Claire raising Maise kind of on a farm, secretive. And because she escaped the clutches of these evil scientists that, behind the Jurassic World, then poachers kind of capture her and take her back with Blue, one of the dinosaurs. The Blue has an offspring, so they capture one of the raptors and the girl, and they trade her off back to this evil corporation that's making dinosaur experiments to make money. One of their experiments is locusts, which they mix with dinosaur DNA. Like in the first movie, what happens is these locusts are unstoppable and destroying all the world's food crops for money, basically to raise prices of food and make money for the farmers, and by that standpoint, by the makers of the locusts. And they make the seed that's impervious to the locust. So one of the things they start with the story is that dinosaurs are everywhere around the world, which then, what's the point of having a park, so to say, where they capture dinosaurs if they're all around the world? Why do you need to even capture the dinosaurs? They also have illegal harvesting of the dinosaurs, which also doesn't make sense. If the dinosaurs are worldwide, they would just be populating everywhere, so there wouldn't be a shortage. You'd really have to have the dinosaurs in isolation, in small populations, to make harvesting even worthwhile. So that doesn't make sense. So that creates a lot of plot holes in the story. The only plot hole that makes sense that you don't really need that is the dinosaur locust. That makes sense, but the other dinosaurs, why are they capturing them if they already have them all around the world? It's kind of doesn't make any sense. Also, I don't think they kind of show humans kind of coexisting with dinosaurs. I think that's totally unrealistic. I think it'd be more in the sense of how Terminator was coexisting with the humans in Terminator 1, and the Terminator's trying to wipe out all of humanity. I think the dinosaurs would be doing the same. It'd be like, who's the best, fiercest competitor on the planet? And you'd have some really crazy scenarios with probably people walking around with nuclear hand grenades or something like this that they met in the 60s actually have these invented. They probably have something like that to take out the T-Rex, and it'd be like this bloody warfare against dinosaurs. So I don't think it'd be peaceful at all. Humans have made other large mammals extinct before, like giant elephants. There's a good argument to make that humans actually hunt them all the way down, which almost happened with the bison, which are smaller animals, but all the large prey were basically wiped out by humans on the planet. So it's no surprise that they would probably happen again, just for control of the space, I think. And they would probably be stuck in a small island again, so I don't see this as realistic. They would coexist around the world. It is a really fun reunion between all the different casts of various Jurassic World, Jurassic Park, Jurassic World. I don't know how many versions there are now. Maybe this is the 6th version, I guess. So it has a lot of nostalgia feel, I think, of adding all those characters together. I think it would have made more sense that one of them probably gets sacrificed to the dinosaurs in the end. That would have made a much more drastic film and pull it together. Like, they're really close-knit, but now they're even closer-knit because they lost one of their closest members. Similar to how Harry Potter, there's actually one of the key members is basically sacrificed every single film, and you're like, oh my god, they killed this character, and they killed that character, and they killed this character. And it gets the audience to really bond with the film. Why this is not, no one really dies as a key member, so you don't really care as much. It's typical end for the creator, who obviously gets eaten by the dinosaurs again, so this is a very, plot rehash again. I like the idea of the locust being unstoppable, this dino DNA crossed with locusts. I thought that was a really clever idea because it could get completely out of the control. And there are current companies like Monsanto are making this pesticide resistant crops that you can only buy from them, and you can't replant it. So they get on this really greedy kind of corporate world, which you never had that before, where farmers couldn't reuse their own seed. It's just crazy, and then they have like the protection, they can sue farmers. You're like, but it's their own seeds. They bought the seeds. Why shouldn't they be able to reuse it? That's normal farming. So you kind of cross into that kind of corporate greed entering into the crop world. So that's kind of a nice commentary, I think. Also, the locust being unstoppable is very kind of if you think about it, this same thing happened with Mao. He made an order out in China to kill all the birds, and they were pretty successful wiping out a lot of the birds, which then the locusts got out of control and ate all their crops. And all the underlings under Mao said, hey, we have plenty of crops, so he shipped the remaining food source out of the country. And millions of people starved to death, basically, because it was this yes culture, which is horrible. So, it's kind of a subtle dig, I think, at that. So, hopefully the CCP doesn't figure that out. Otherwise, they might block the film. It was kind of fun as well that the dinosaurs would find a way to breed without male-female sex. That's kind of interesting. It's possible it happens in the plant world. It's not very common in animals, especially complex animals. Usually it's a male-female sex. But maybe in the world of possibility. They also have the same thing with the human. It's able to reproduce too. So then you get into this weird biology that doesn't really make sense because everyone knows it's a male and female. So it gets kind of like, is that Hollywood weirdo kind of politics behind the scenes trying to say that humans could reproduce with one sex? You're like, maybe in the future with some weird genetic thing, but you really need a man and a woman to make a sex. And I don't know what they're trying to say with this. It kind of gets kind of that weird political thing, and it might lose a little bit of audience for that. There's also kind of a commentary of the destruction of the planet, where I think Ian Malcolm is giving a speech, and he's talking about how we're destroying the planet. We have to be the caretakers of the environment. So it gets very politically Hollywood leftist kind of mentality. I mean, I think everyone is pro-environment. Some people think they need more or less, government control or more or less regulation on companies. So it's kind of like there's a little bit of debate there, but definitely there's a point to be made that we're destroying the environment. But in countries where they're not that pro-environment, this probably film is not going to sell well. And again, it's going to have a risk of the CCP banning it because they're horrible environmentalists. So this is kind of a subtle dig at the CCP if you think about it. But very subtly, they run the risk of having this movie pulled in China, which is probably where they're going to make a lot of their money. So I don't know why they would have that speech in there. Maybe they rewrite the speech for the China market. Who knows? There was a little bit of conflict between the characters. Like all dialogue is usually conflict-based. But I didn't really feel like there was any big fallout. I think it would have made more sense if some of the key cast members had probably had a big falling out. And they're like, oh, I don't want to talk to that person, da-da-da. And then some other third party kind of pulls them together. No, I still talk to them. They're not that way, and kind of pulls together. And then end of the film, they're buddy-buddy again. I think that would have made more sense. You don't have any conflict like that in the story, really. There is one person that is kind of a poacher and sells dinosaurs legally and ships them back and forth. So kind of on the shady side, but not really shady. So she had the potential to be kind of an evil character, but they didn't really pitch her as an evil character. So obviously there's a lot of great CGI here for the chase scenes with the dinos chasing the humans down, which is probably the key element in any Jurassic Park type of film. It's a fun, cheesy movie for, all the CGI effects, action effects, seeing dinosaurs again. But a little weak on the story, I would say, getting a little stale, kind of rebooting the series over and over and over again with like, hey, we have dinosaurs, come see it again. They destroy a park, come see it again. Oh, the creator gets eaten by dinosaurs, come see it again. We're going to have a couple little kids in there. Come see it again. So a little bit really kind of getting stale in the story, I would say. But otherwise, it's fun to go see. I don't think you would buy it. I mean, if you have kids, you probably buy it. You can replay it again, maybe. If you like to subscribe, you can subscribe below. And I'll see you in the next movie review. Thanks for watching, guys.